Well, consider yourself at home. Consider yourself part of the furniture. I'm putting my socks on. I apologize for being late, my fellow brunchettes. But alas, I had a slow start to the morning. Let me get comfortable. Ooh. That thing is a bit bright. Let's see. I don't want that getting into I want you all to be able to see me without the glow. Hello, everybody. Let me get myself nipped and tucked here. We've got our schedule today. Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for coming in. It is Sunday, beautiful Sunday. If you're just coming from church, I hope it was, or mosque or temple or wherever you're coming from, I hope it was a beautiful service. If this is what you do instead, that's cool too. This is what I do instead. Anyway, welcome to all of you. I am your host, the Oracle of Whimsy. I am an accidental oracle. I incarnate in every generation. Yes, I do. I do. To bring humor and laughter and to teach you all to not sweat the little stuff. Everything is little stuff. Just stick to the rules and everything will work itself out, and try and have fun while you're doing it. Yes, reluctant oracle. Yes. So what is the rule? Oh, the rule is be kind to all. And if you are kind to all, if you are kind and you are kind and you are kind and I am kind, if we are all kind to all, then all will be kind to us. Yes. So today is the Sunday show, 11 a.m. If you have not had a chance to subscribe yet, that would be absolutely great. And we are raising money for Feeding America Together. We chose that charity because they do a lot of cool stuff for the Thanksgiving holiday. Last year, thousands and thousands of people wanted a Thanksgiving dinner, and they were not able to get Thanksgiving dinners to everybody because of everything going on with the virus, etc. So unfortunately, we still have inflation, hunger problems. We have problems, of course, in South Florida. A lot of people don't have kitchens anymore in South Florida. They don't have homes, let alone kitchens. So we want to make sure that this holiday season, we are all fed. And I think that's a pretty good thing to do. All right. So again, if you haven't had a chance to subscribe and like, that would be awesome. Oh my. Forgot to get my little nose wiper. So I think is that all I have to announce? Why do I feel like I'm missing something? Nope, I did it. I did everything. All right. So now I'm going to turn the camera over to you. And why don't you tell me who you are? We extend our brunch table at 11 a.m. every Sunday to anyone who wants to join us, as long as they follow the rules. Be kind to all, so that all can be kind to you. And you don't have to have a political interest. You don't have to be a Democrat. I think that sometimes people think we get together and it's just Democrats. I really want everyone to welcome everyone, including people who may have not voted for someone that you agree with. This is how adults handle life. We don't beat each other up. We don't insult each other like 3-year-olds. We certainly don't want to influence young people to work their problems out like that. No, we sit down and we have a cup of coffee or tea or whatever, and we we get to know each other and see what we can do to make the world a better place. So if that works for you, you are welcomed here. All right, let's turn the attention over now to you. Tell me where you're coming from and what you're eating. Are you in a restaurant? Yeah, all of that good stuff. Hi, Geriatric Brig. Great to see you. We have Liverpool. Woohoo! Northern England. Way to represent, Geriatric Brig. Thank you. Debbie K is vacuuming. Well, that can be a type of meditation, right? If you vacuum, it can be a type of meditation. Top of the morning to you, Joe Sands, you lovely, sensitive person. Hi, Kathy. Good to see you. Kathy C in the house. Excuse me. Mary Grand Jadnis. Grajandanis. Grajandini. Oh, she's in Sweden. Thank you, Sweden, for joining NATO. Thank you to Anonymous for donating $5 to Feed America. Every penny counts, and it's much appreciated. Gigi Pardo Lord, thank you for being a member. Woo-hoo, much appreciated. Hi, Pamela Doss. Woo-hoo to you as well. Thanks for being a member. Buddha Lion, thank you for being a member. Much appreciated that you support the channel. Give a shout out also to Lama Bryant, Connie Morris. Hello, and thanks for your help today. Melissa Miller, always great to see her here. And thank you as well for being a member. Beautiful Sunday in North California, says Helene Robinson. Thank you for the $20 donation, Anonymous. Much appreciated. Berkeley is in the house, and they are having avocado toast. Fill her in. Great to see you with a poached egg. I just bought the Just Eggs vegan egg substitute, and I made some. Oh, yes, I used it for frying. Frying zucchini. You guys ever had fried zucchini? It's really tasty. And you can do different things in polenta too. I'm playing with polenta. So I take my Just egg substitute and I mix it with polenta. And then you can take various different vegetables like mushrooms or zucchini or whatever, and then you fry it. And it actually, I was pleasantly surprised. It was delicious. You could do a sauce. You could do like a vinaigrette or a vegan ranch if you like that. It's really hearty. Yeah, it's good. Yes, thank you, Melissa, for sending. It was Melissa that sent us the information on the yacht seizures. We talked a couple of years ago. We can go ahead and get started on the remotes. All right, let's start our HCRV. Woo, woo, woo. So we're going to start with what Melissa Miller is talking about here. And that's really going to be a way for us to dovetail into some of the remote viewings we've talked about in the past and where we're going to be headed in the future. Of course, if you would like to learn heart-centered remote viewing, how the heck do those people over there, how the heck does Sheila do that? How the heck does Whimsy do that? How the heck does Melissa do it? Melissa's getting to be a good remote viewer. We use a technique called heart-centered remote viewing. We get ourselves into a relaxed state. We become one with universal love, and we attach to. We become like the wind. Yes, we're like the wind, and then we let the thing that we are attached to carry us, and that's basically, in a nutshell, HCRV. So, when we have been looking at a lot of the federal investigation, a lot of the investigations into Russian involvement, into interrupting our democracy, it's pretty impressive to see how much the American government has done to really protect us and to put a stop to money laundering. I mean, if you go over to the Justice Department also, you'll see all of the foreign business people who were engaged in money laundering, illegal activities, etc., and were also hiding their money in shell corporations, etc. This is something that we were able to find out information about when we did remote viewing on Robert Mueller a couple of years back. And he was, when we got into we try to become one with the target, and we'll start to see images and thought forms of the person that we're connecting with. And what we found when we went into Robert Mueller's energy is we found pictures of yachts, pictures of him trying to get on boats, pictures of the feds trying to get special agents and informants onto the boats to find the meetings, to find the bribes, conversations, etc. And we were a little bit lost about what he was talking about. But what he was talking about regarding the boats was about foreign business people having meetings on these boats and operating almost like independent governments and pouring massive amounts of money into American elections. So now we've gone full circle from that remote, which was 2-3 years ago, and we're starting to now see the physical evidence of what Robert Mueller had told us about. But I think that we were I can tell you, as somebody who is a professional remote viewer, I had no idea what the heck I was talking about, because I'm not an FBI agent or an FBI informant. I simply saw what they were trying to do, saw the images, and then my job is to deliver the remote. So this is why here on the channel, people will often joke that Robert Mueller always gets his man, because one of the things we also felt when we were in Robert Mueller's energy was that sooner or later you're going to be mine. He stood with the Three of Wands looking at the Atlantic, and he was watching those boats. And when I threw myself into the Three of Wands as Robert Mueller, that's precisely what I was doing. I knew what they were doing. I knew what they were doing on the boats. I knew that they were having shell companies to hide money. I knew about the cryptocurrency, etc. You know how long it took me to figure out how to balance my checkbook? International finance. Uh, Same with Putin, right? When we went into the remotes on Putin, Putin kept showing us old trade routes, and those Arabs in the Silk Road are constantly blocking trade out of China and trade out of here and trade out of there, and the Americans are helping the Arabs block my trade. Then we went forward and we saw he was talking about not only trade, but his gas going into Europe, etc. So it's been very, very interesting to use. I never used remote viewing before I went on YouTube for political purposes. It was always people's personal issues. Find my kitty. Uh, uh, what's going on with my ex-husband. It was always they were always personal readings, but what I have found, so I feel that doing political remotes has definitely made me a better remote viewer, because I don't have the same emotional attachment to people I don't know. And so it's been it's been an interesting public experiment to get into these generals' minds and see how it's been very cool. So good point, Melissa, and thank you for sending us the latest. So the latest that she sent, we did do a link, has to do with some of the final arrest and some of the final boats that the international community, the American government, etc. They're starting to confiscate some of these boats, which some of them are being linked back to United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia, which has also bought part of Twitter and also poured money into Johnny Depp's campaign, hired Adam Waldman. Adam Waldman, of course, is a propagandist under Putin and Deripaska. So it was really about foreign money getting into our elections, getting into our political system, influencing how we view women's rights in the courts. Particularly women who are part of the LGBTQ community are getting targeted, trans women, all of that is coming from foreign governments, and in some cases, United Arab Emirates. Of course, the prince from the United Arab Emirates, he had a very bad divorce himself because he was accused of holding his children hostage, drugging them, domestic violence, and some of the money is being linked back to him too, and possibly he was linked also with Johnny Depp. So birds of a feather flock together. So we are now at a point where their boats are getting taken away. Their boats are getting taken away. Their islands are getting taken away. It's not pretty. All right. So did I thank the person who just became a member? Yes, Pam Carpenter. Welcome to Fairies and Angels. Ooh, we have a new fairy in the house. A new fairy. Well, we actually have literally fairies. But we always ask people when they become a member, are you a fairy or an angel? We'll let you decide. I think that the Oracle of Whimsy is more fae than angel. Netanyahu is back. Yes, it's quite disturbing. It's quite disturbing. All right, so I want to get back on track with what we saw when we talked about the future of Putin and Ukraine. Has anybody heard what Dugin has said about Putin? Dugin being the right-wing, quote-unquote, philosopher who teaches at the university, who thinks that Russia should take Ukraine. Oh, definitely fairy. Me too. I like to play too much. I'm not good enough to be an angel. People here know me. So Dugin is the right-wing extremist whose daughter was killed in the bombing, and then that was linked, I believe, to Ukrainian pro-Ukrainian extremist in Russia, I believe. It was meant for Dugin, but now Dugin is calling for Putin to be killed. That Putin is a failure. That the fall of Kherson is a disaster, and he basically take him out, kill him if we have to. So, you know, 1 minute they love you, 1 minute they don't. 1 minute you're the cat's meow, and then the next minute you're the cat's kibble. So, as we had said, we saw the withdrawal of Russian troops. It would be a humble defeat, that Putin would be stepping down, that new people would be coming in, and that those new people would have to negotiate the handing over of the bodies, because a lot of they have a lot of bodies. They have a lot of nearly 100,000 Russians were killed. So this is very humble for them to stop the war, begin to pull back and negotiate the release of the bodies, and also to then negotiate bodies first, because it's bodies first, not actual soldiers, because that's going to get more complicated, because the Russians have both civilians and soldiers, and so do the Ukrainians. So that has to be negotiated. That's going to be a little bit more intense, but this is going to be an opportunity that you're going to be seeing in the coming weeks and months for Russia to be able to negotiate the rest of that retreat. We're still seeing them bombing Zaporizhia, and there have been reports of Marines attempting repeatedly to take back the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant, but they have still not successfully taken back the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. The Ukrainians did bomb a Russian unit in Zaporizhia, I believe, and something like 40, 50 Russian soldiers were killed. but it is still a delicate situation. If you remember my remote from last week, I felt like we had made tremendous strides in Kherson and that it was smooth sailing. But when I put myself in the shoes of the Russians, I was trying to sneak in through the southeast. Do y'all recall that? So we're still seeing fighting in Zaporizhia and attacks and still problems taking control of the nuclear power plant. I do think, though, that hopefully there's some concerns that there are some leaks, actually. Hopefully it's not going to be as bad as it could have been, and hopefully it will just end the way we want it to end. They will humbly retreat. They will get the bodies, and then we have to negotiate these surrenders, etc. So that is what I saw for that. What about, let's talk about midterms. This is something else that kind of brings the old remotes back together. Is everybody enjoying the midterms? I'm going to take a cup of coffee. Y'all can talk about the midterms. Is everybody chuckling? California is what we're waiting on, and the GOP did not invest a lot of money in California. They could have invested a lot more. Instead, they focused on the races they thought they could win, which was a disaster for them. So, yeah, the word I used, you know, I would not be surprised because you're the best you're it's a Republican pro-choice state. The Republicans in California are what are you going to do? Even Reagan was pro-choice, you know. I mean, he didn't publicly come out and say it, and so was Barbara Bush. So was Bush. So come on, what are they going to do in California when they're trying to take away pro-choice? That really shot him in the foot. But let's talk about Mitch McConnell. And what was the word we used? Forgive me, I'm not the best speller in the world. I think the word we used was cannibalism. Could that be? Does anybody know how to spell cannibalism? Is it with an E? No. That's how it sounds to me, but that's not how it's spelled. Cannibalism. I always get my vowels wrong. Cannibalism. Cannibalism. You're right. I spelt it right here. I don't know. I haven't had my coffee yet. Oh, you're the best, Joel. Well, this is the moment that you've been waiting for. If you've been waiting, as I say, oops, hold on. I say, be kind to all so that all can be kind to you. But come on. I think we all know what's coming. This is why HCRV is important, because it helps you not step away from your own actions, put your own emotion aside. What do you really think is going to happen? And when you put your emotions aside and you follow Trumpism and you follow what happened when the Republican Party went crazy, it always ends the same way: cannibalism. So now comes the cannibalism. Yeah. So we get to watch, and it's probably not pretty. Did y'all see Saturday Night Live last night? I thought Dave Chappelle did fine. Um, did you see Rick? What is it? Kari Lake, SNL. where they're trying to get off the phone with Trump, and cannabis is green. Yeah, cannibalism. Crazy Lake. Yeah, I thought it was very, very funny. She's never been up. She gained 3,000 points because they did Maricopa and the rest of the Republican mail-ins, but they haven't done Apache yet, which is 70% in support of Hobbs. And they haven't finished Pima, which is 60% Hobbs. And Maricopa's 52% Hobbs. So, yeah. But yeah, it was very, very funny. But so it's cannibalism now, and we are watching the cannibalism, and this is post-mortem after an election, right? They get together, and whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? And it's not fun to lose an election, but I think that everybody is pointing in the same direction, which is Trump. What's the mistake that they're making? The mistake is that now they think DeSantis is going to be the new Trump. So they really haven't learned anything, have they? So the best thing that they can do is pick DeSantis, because DeSantis is just another Trump. He has the same policies, the same attitude, and supported Trump, supported the wall, and that doesn't fly in all 50 states. So yeah, he'll get Florida, but he's not going to win a national election on a pro-life, pro-wall. So even though they've switched from Trump to DeSantis, they've really gone nowhere, because they haven't learned what the fundamental problem was. The fundamental problem wasn't Trump. The fundamental problem was their policies. So yeah, so now we're watching the cannibalism. Anyway, that's pretty much what I have for everybody for today for the remotes. Usually takes us about 20, 30 minutes to get through them all. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. Vaseline Lake. Yeah, that was very funny. Vaseline and they're all blaming each other, and we don't like Trump anymore. Get him off the phone. Get him off the phone. Nobody wants to interview him, and it's very funny. Yeah. So those are the remotes. And now, if you guys like, we'll do the Empath prayer and a message to you from Spirit. Would you like that? Let us pray. We are going to pray. That was funny, Melissa Miller, that you just wrote, let us pray. And we're going to pray. Okay, so if you're new to the channel, about 30 minutes in, we do what's called the Empath prayer. They're old hats. They know they've known the Empath prayer for years. We do it together, and then after that, we ask Spirit, our higher power. We ask our higher power to give a message that can speak to all of us about how we can improve ourselves, our characters, etc. Cannabis is huh? You know, I once was a big pothead. That's very true. Cannabis, but once I began to be able to tell people exactly what I think of them, and to stop apologizing for being angry at people that didn't treat me right, I just felt no need to smoke the blessed weed. I became just a boring girl who has 2 cups of coffee a day. Hi, would you like to join us? You gonna sit over there? I became the accidental oracle. No drugs, well, I still got my rock and roll. No marijuana, no cigarettes, no meat, no alcohol. I mean, I don't know. It happened by accident. What can I tell you? And I meditate and chant. I don't know how this, it is pure accident that I became the Oracle of Whimsy. And yet, on my birth certificate, it says Whimsy. So it's not like I can escape this. Stuck. CBD drops. Yes, good for some people. I just, I'm loving sobriety and I'm loving clear-headedness. And I have so many dreams. And if I'm groggy, never liked alcohol, gives me a stomach ache. Accidental oracle. She can't drink because it gives her a tummy ache. Her cholesterol's too high. Doctor told her to go vegan. Too much stress. So my doctors told me to meditate. Next thing I know, I'm an accidental oracle. All right, let's do the empath prayer together. You know the rules. You can say it out loud, internally. Let's do it. All right, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, as a community, we say, Amen. Oh, Pia, you minus the pot, so you still invite. Well, some people need it. You know, my doctor prescribed it when I went through my divorce when I was in California. But then I just started telling my ex-husband what I thought of him, and a few other people, like a particular chess player we know. I'm not going to self-destruct because somebody's mean to me. I'm going to take care of myself. Okay. I do try to be kind to all, starting with me. I mean, I don't want to be mean to people. Like, who wants to be mean to people? But sometimes you got to stick up for yourself. Okay, so wow, that's so weird that we're talking about this because this is exactly what the spiritual lesson is for this group. How do we have loving relationships with people that have not respected us? And it is, you know, there's a time and a place for anger. I know that a lot of religions try to suppress our anger and no, you shouldn't be angry. But sometimes anger, not violence. Violence is different from anger. Anger is it comes up in us when we feel that when we feel threatened or when we feel our boundaries are being crossed. It's there as a teacher and it's there to assist you. And there's a right way to handle anger and there's a wrong way to handle anger. You know, being below the belt. Like sometimes I can be below the belt. I can attack people and say things I shouldn't say. The anger should be directed towards the facts, right? You know, Stoics can be angry, but they stick to the facts. Where you are right now is the Queen of Wands who seeks justice absolute, my way or the highway. So be aware that what we are all working with at this time is boundaries. The ability to establish, hey, you're in my space. I don't advocate violence, but I was watching this particular, please remind me who he is. He's a Black activist who he's sometimes on Midas Touch, and he shows film footage of Black people defending themselves and the pains they go through to not hurt the person who's threatening them. And one of the film footage he showed was there was this white supremacist just totally in this Black man's face while he was just walking down the street. And the Black guy was just saying, please back off, sir. Please back off, sir. Please do not threaten me. Please do not. And then eventually he whipped the guy. He whipped the guy up because the guy, you have a moral responsibility to protect your own safety. It's your first and foremost primal responsibility. If you cannot protect yourself, your own body from harm, you will not be granted or should not be granted the responsibility of protecting anybody else. And that's the spiritual lesson of the Queen of Wands. So it's kind of like the guy who's like, sir, back up. I do not want to mess you up. Please back up. And then in the next scene, I shouldn't laugh. The white guy was like all busted in his face and he was just sitting there. And the Black guy was saying, sir, I didn't want to hurt you, but I told you if you continue to threaten me, I'm going to have to defend myself. So that's the Queen of Wands energy. She comes with a staff. This is my space. And then the person is there and they're, oh, I think it's fun to mess with this person or see what I can get away with. The Queen of Wands is going to mess you up. My space, right? That is the mantra of the Queen of Wands. My way, my space. So what happens when you establish boundaries and have a zero tolerance for people that don't treat you right? People come crawling back. Six of Cups with flowers. If you see how inappropriate it is for the way people have treated you to treat you like that, and you say, I'm done here, and you let it be known, you've crossed my boundary for the last time, the locks have been changed, you wind up with a Six of Cups. Here's the thing about the Six of Cups. You can accept the apology, but don't let them back into your life unless they go and fix whatever their issue is. It's like the Black guy that had to beat up the person. He said, I don't want to hurt you, but you have put me in that situation. So if the other person comes back and says, man, I'm sorry, whatever, you can accept their apology. But if they have not made any efforts to change their behavior, find out what's fundamentally wrong with them that led them to behave that way in the first place, then it's foolish to allow them back into your state. That's schizophrenic. Guilt trip you into putting yourself back into harm's way. So the message here is accept the apology, but you don't have to let them back in if you see no change in character. By respecting yourself, this goes back to the spiritual lesson of the Yoruba people in the goddess Oshun, right? The Orisha, very similar to the Buddhist, right? But this is older than Buddhism, is this idea that there are forces that exist inside of us that need to be respected. Traits, personality traits, Orisha, the gods, right? So Oshun, she's the goddess of femininity. She's very connected with Gaia. She's very sensuous and beautiful, but you better respect her, right? So the Queen of Wands is the personification of the goddess Oshun, who's often personified with yellow and orange are her colors, loyalty, respect for women, boundaries with women. Her flower is the sunflower. This is a time when women have to, women's energy or the feminine energy has to be respected with zero tolerance for people that don't respect the feminine and appropriate boundaries. And that's also what we're seeing with this election. When you think about it, it's the war of masculine and feminine, the war against Gaia, the war against the feminine. And what we're seeing is that the feminine is fighting back. And how the feminine fights back is, I do not want to fight you, sir. But if you come closer and contaminate the water, et cetera, I'm going to mess you up. It's like the lioness, right? It's the lioness of Judah. She will mess you up if you come towards her cubs. 9 of Cups, we get our wish. Our wish has been granted, which leads me to think that we're going to do very fine in the House and the Senate. The feminine is rising all over the world. We get our wish all over the world. It's a time of 10 of Cups, happy family. I think the war in Ukraine is coming to an end. Wars are coming to, that's how you work your problems out. War is expensive. It's horrible for the environment. It kills people and it's expensive. 10 of Cups. We're entering into a new time. 10 of Cups. Grow up, boys. Sit down and have a cup of coffee. Time of healing. Archangel Raphael sits in your 3rd house. It's a time to heal your life, heal the world. It's the time of respecting the feminine. You want to be loved? Show respect. You want to get back? You want back into the house? Remember the exile card, 5 of Pentacles. Things are changing. There's trouble right here in River City, right? So death and transformation of the dynamics in your home, in your family, in your relationships. Where you are right now, you're looking for greener pastures, 3 of Wands. Remember, that was the card that propelled us when we were looking at Robert Mueller gave us this card. Remember that? And it propelled us into the future. We got thrown into the boats. Like, what the hell am I looking at? Remember that? Well, now we know. But 3 of Wands is the ability to go forward, look at the future. It's a wish card. It means your wishes have all been granted. It also could indicate you had a little travel there, waiting for your boats to come in. The other in relationship is retreating and defensive, because whoever you cussed out, like I've been cussing out a certain chess player. I think I've gone a little too far, to be quite honest with you. I think it's not my nature to be cruel. But the other is in retreat, 9 of Wands. You must have busted someone up that needed it. I know I did. It was necessary. Anyway, 9 of Wands, they're in retreat. The hope and the fear. You're moving on, girl, boy, they, however you want to identify yourself, you are moving on. And the final outcome for you is you are stronger than you know. Take that. Booyah! You are strong. You can recover your health too, by the way, with a strength card. 100% your priority is your safety. The goddess gave you one thing, a body. You have to protect it from physical assault, injury, both what you put in your mouth, how you treat yourself, but also who has access to your body and to your person. You have a right to say, you know what? I don't really like the way you're treating me. I'm out. Well, let's negotiate. No, we're not going to negotiate it. So you have this strength card. Your priority is your health and your healing. The clarification over your wishes, ethics, values. What do you believe is right and wrong, and how do you live up to it? I have a lot of fire in my chart. The other in relationship with you, limited emotional capacity. You may be having conflicts with people. Ice King. Like my chess player friend, ex-friend. People will retreat to ice. They'll get defensive. Well, I didn't want those guavas anyway, right? So you could be dealing with a little bit. It's not your problem. Your priority is your safety, your physical safety. You don't need to eat another donut. I know you love it. I love it too. This is really the message from today: is your space, your money, but your health. Your number one priority is you were given a body and you have to take care of it. And that means you have a moral responsibility to not allow people to have access to your body that are going to do it harm. The hope and the fear. I see travel, man. You guys got a ton of travel cards. So do I. I'm in Japan. I'm in Seattle, Tacoma next week, and then I come back, and then I fly to Japan, and then I come back, and then I'm either in Thailand after that, or, you know me, guys, I'm always somewhere, or I'll be in Ireland. But anyway, flying travel like me, you can't sit still. And ooh, I see a lover coming to you. Yes, if you want it, it's there for you. Lovers coming to everyone. Look at this. And also Six of Cups, which is old loves returning or potential for soulmates. I hear my sister Bambi might come with me. Oh, Michelle, good to see you here, by the way. Yeah, so the takeaway message here for everyone is really very clear. Ask yourself objectively, what are you doing with yourself that is keeping you safe? Are you eating right? Who has access to you? Are the people that have access to you on a daily basis putting you in any way at risk, financially, mentally, etc.? And you have to also put the mirror on yourself. That's shadow work, right? The ability to step back and say, am I toxic to this person? You know, that's the shadow work. I see travel, I see love, I see some kind of reconciliation between you and people you may be having conflict with. They may not change, they may remain somewhat defensive, but that isn't your priority. Your priority is to non-apologetically protect yourself. And that is the message from Spirit. And you will. And you are stronger than you know. The other is make your health and healing your priority. Archangel Raphael comes to you in your heart. Heal your heart and know that you are not garbage and that you have every right to be selfish when it comes to your own. I'm not talking about exaggerated selfishness, but certainly when it comes to your basic needs. And that is all. That is your message from Spirit. That Queen of Wands comes in as a karma card. I know it's going to be a great reading. All right, so we have taken care of that. We got our midterm cannibalism taken care of. We got our HCRV taken care of. We got our empath prayer taken care of. We got our personal messages taken care of. Looks like there's only one little tiny thing left. I just got to get the order. And then we will blitz away. Ooh, you guys are fast. All right, I've got the order. We're going to blitz away. What is a blitz? A blitz means lightning round. We get it from chess. So 4 cards. The 4 cards are, if you're learning tarot, we pick the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th cards of the Celtic cross. So the first card will be the subject. The second card is the opposition to the subject. Yeah, you can write it down. I don't mind. Some people want to learn tarot here. That's cool. So the first is going to be the subject. The second card is the opposition. The third is the hope and the fear. And then the final card is the final outcome. We got the order to blitz away. And let's go on with the questions. I'm going to look, whoever puts the red question mark is probably going to get the priority. So let us see what's going on. Oh, Geocosmic Valentine. Hello. Let's see what we've got going on here in terms of questions. I'm just going real. Yeah, if I don't see the red dot, I'm not going to be like, oh, Joel Tilson is talking about Netanyahu. Yeah, let's talk about this. Let's go ahead and do. Yeah, we were worried about. Wow, that turned out pretty good. It's almost gone. Happy. Let's see about the future of Netanyahu. A lot of people wanted to bring him in because he has a relationship with Putin. Maybe he can calm things down with Iran and Putin and Ukraine, and the fact that Zelensky is Ukrainian but also Israeli. Aronofsky is the Russian-Israeli billionaire that funded Zelensky's campaign. So we find ourselves in a bit of a pickle in Israel, right? Because Israel, the owner of the station that made Zelensky famous as a comedian, is Aronofsky. So we got a bit of a problem in Israel, right? On the one hand, hey, one of our guys made it, right? And he's a Democrat, right? He's a liberal Democrat. But Netanyahu's a Republican, so we got a bit of a pickle, right? Let's see what happens. Netanyahu in power. Democrats, see, Israelis have like conservatives and liberals too. And Zelensky's like a Democrat, which of course is why Trump didn't like him, right? He's a moderate. Netanyahu's future. I love Sundays. You know that song? I can see clearly now the rain has gone. So where Netanyahu is right now, he feels good. He feels like he's back in the saddle again. He feels like all is right in Israel. I'm back where I belong. I'm back in the Knesset. I've got it all figured out. I'm going to negotiate a peace treaty, even though it doesn't matter anymore since they retreated and 100,000 Russians are dead. But he has the sun. So he's feeling pretty good, Netanyahu, about his victory. And the sun is, he's the wonder kid, the Wunderkids card, right? The Wundermensch. Others in relationship with him get their wish. So it's a great positive feeling. Oh, thank God, stability in Israel. We're going to go back to the way it was again with Netanyahu. Trump's friend, right? The hope and the fear, new beginnings for Israel. He fears a new Israel. So in a sense, Israel is moving to the left again, which is, it was originally very, very left. It was Bernie Sanders people, right? And I think these rapid changes are becoming a problem for Netanyahu because he's going to have to they're going to have to move towards the left if he's going to save his seat. And by April, we could be looking at another collapse of his government because he's not left enough. You can see by April, a new beginning in the Knesset, and it puts him in a situation of the Eight of Swords. I'm going to go ahead and predict that his government is not stable. If he was able to get a government together with Likud, etc., it may not be stable going forward with those cards. And for that reason, he could be seeing a collapse of his government by April. He's come in making false promises, wooing the people. He does. The main issue is he wants to keep the coalition together. That's basically what I see here, and I'll show it to you. And also financial problems. They really want him to clean up the budget. You can see here coming like a knight on a white horse, but could also be false promising more than he can deliver. Here's his coalition, the Two of Wands, partnership. So he's entered into a partnership with certain parties that may be extremist, right-wing, religious extremists, etc. But it's fickle. Sometimes they walk out of negotiations and then his entire thing collapses. So he has this, great, I got my coalition, Two of Wands. And then the hope and fear, again, is the contract or his relationship with his coalition by April. We can see, again, the Four of Wands. I read wands as months. Again, we're not seeing stability here, and there's economic problems, strife, inflation, Four of Pentacles. That's one of the reasons for the instability in his. So he may have to challenge his seat by April, in answer to your question, Joel. It's not stable. Israel is not like the United States where they can just stay forever. If members of the Knesset walk out and say, you know what, I don't support you anymore, then boom, that's it. So it winds. That's why we constantly are having elections. It's driving Israelis crazy. But with him having an 8 of Swords there, I can't say that this person has is stable going forward. All right, let's keep going here. We have a question from Melissa Miller. Yeah, so do not fear Netanyahu because his seat will be threatened by April, which makes sense because we're moving towards the new green economy and a kinder world and a feminist world where the rules are going to be different. And Netanyahu is really going to have to struggle with those changes. People are not going to put up with LGBTQ community being harassed, not the young people in Israel. They want to go, they're vegan. It's like 10% vegan now. He's going to have to roll with the punches or he's going to not have a government in April. That's what they're saying. All right, this question coming from Melissa Miller. Will Iran really publicly execute 15,000 protesters? Let's take a look. Okay, Iran and the protesters. No. That was a stupid idea. The people in charge in Iran think that this is a very stupid idea because the people who said, we're going to kill the young people are getting phone calls. You're going to kill the young people? That's my granddaughter you got, and I supported you. You're getting, it's like, oh, God, it's another one calling me. So you have this situation. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to take all of your young people and kill them. We're going to take our young people and kill them? So it has that, like, okay, we're not really going to kill our young people. So it's 8 of Cups, walking away from a stupid idea, right? Walking away from something that you've built. Here is a deal we're going to give you instead. We're not going to kill you and we're going to release you from prison, but you can't stay in Iran. You got to go. Go to France, go to Italy, go somewhere else. But young protesters in Iran are given an option. You can go live in exile or you can stay in jail. But the fact that the 8 of Cups is where they're at, and imagine the phone calls. Imagine you've got some religious grandmother who's sitting there sending money and whatever, and she's got some crazy rebellious granddaughter, and now she's calling you, and all of her friends are calling you, and their friends are calling you, and their friends are calling you. You don't want to deal with crying grandmothers. Gee, okay, we're not going to kill your granddaughter. Gee. So what do? The other that you're having opposition with, 3 of Wands, waiting for their ship to come in. In plainer words, within time, we're going to win. We're waiting for our ship to come in. The wish card falls with the opposition. Walking away from a battle you cannot win is the subject, the Iranian leadership. The hope and fear for Iranian leadership, all these kids that are in jail. What am I going to do with this kid? I can't release him, your dog. Give her a visa to go study art in Paris for a year. You know, just take her out. I don't want her here protesting. Financial opportunities. They're going to renegotiate also their finances and also sanctions. The United States could come in, Netanyahu could come in and try and negotiate something that's going to be part of what's happening in Iran. Looks to be economic sanctions and economic hardship. And that's part of what has to be resolved because we're seeing an improvement in economics in Iran. Yeah, the economy, the sanctions could be lifted in the future. We could be seeing Major changes in Iran, which lead to peace in Iran. Look at this. They're moving on. I don't think the mullahs are going to stay in power. It's so funny when you see the cards before the cards come, because you get the vision when you do HCRV, quick technique. Just take your kid out of here. Just take your kid out of here. Go spend a year in Europe. Go do a gap year. That's what you need, honey. Go do a gap year. 6 of Swords. You can't stay you can't stay here because you're a protester. You're on the list. We're not going to kill you, but you do have to leave for a little bit. Isn't it crazy the card came up? Hopes and fears for the leadership. They no longer have control over things. You can see here. And then the final outcome, their government will collapse, economic changes. Iran's going to be a great country. The great people, by the way. Oh my God, the best food in the world. And if you are a vegan, don't worry. The Persian people will take good care of you. Oh my gosh, they have the best vegan food. The bread and the eggplant with the grilled onions on top, and the tahini, and the grilled vegetables, and the what's that soup they make? Ash soup, the soup they make. It's similar to minestrone. Killer food. All right, let's keep going here. So we got a question here about Mitch McConnell. Is he going to be out as leader of the Senate? Boy, I would think so. Let's take a look. Weren't those cards great? Good future for Iran. If you love food as much as I do, don't worry. Persian people are going to be free again. Free and all those and if you're like me and you're a gastro, you like to travel. See, I fly places to eat the food. I'm just total confession. Yeah, it's one of my favorite foods is Persian. I can always get. I get the when I'm in Los Angeles, I get the assorted vegetarian plate that they make me. Olives and bread, and you can do it with cheese or without. Hummus, tabbouleh, couscous, all that good stuff. But they do stuff that you can't get in Middle Eastern places, like that eggplant thing. Oh my God, it's so good. All right, Mitch McConnell. Best food I've ever eaten. Rafi's. Try Rafi's is Glendale. Try Rafi's in Glendale. RAFI Glendale. Glendale, California, Rafi's. You won't be disappointed. Just do the salad specials. They give you 21 salads, all vegan. $21 salad plates. Mitch McConnell. Oh, gee. Oh. Yeah, I think it's over for Mitch McConnell. Maybe that's why I was singing that song. Dream, 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 dream. He's dreaming. No, he lost 5 of Cups. He's grieving what they've lost. So again, it goes back to postmortem. What happened? What happened? We go back. We have to pick through it. We have to figure out what happened. And you have here the 5 of Cups. Something remains, but they've lost a lot. Who they have opposition to is in the 8th house. And how do you think that the Democrats are feeling right about now? Victory. Oh, line doesn't. Yeah, Rafi's. You know it. Life. Yeah, it's my favorite too. One of my favorites. Probably my favorite. Okay, so Ace of Swords in his opposition. We won. So there's a little bit of that. The hope and fear. Two of Pentacles. The money. Also the money stream. Oh, the money stream dried up. So foreign money, shell corpse, etc. Money streams dried up, my friends. See a Two of Pentacles there. The Queen of Swords puts the past behind her and she looks to the future. He's being stoic about it. You know, he's a stoic. He's won races, he's lost races. Over his grief, a new beginning in April. I think it's all these new contracts. Walking away from a battle we cannot win. Hopes and fears, the business. And then the final outcome for Mitch McConnell. He's offering to work with Democrats. People are tired of the fighting. We will walk away from battles we cannot win. In plainer words, we're going to start working with the Republicans. It's the business, it's the money, it's the new Green Deal. I always say it's these new billions and billions and billions of dollars coming in to get America up and running in the 21st century. It's like you go to Europe and you say, what the heck happened to America? What happened to our transportation? That's a lot of money to get us to where Europe was 20 years ago. Look at all this business coming in. And he offers a Archangel Raphael, a healing. It's like he'll work with us because he has no choice. The green economy is here to stay because it's cheaper also. When you think about the green economy, I mean, you could raise a cow from birth to death, and then you'd have to pay for the alfalfa and everything, which also requires subsidies and massive amounts of water. And then it has to take the land, and then it releases massive amounts of methane. And then you kill the cow, which is not very nice, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Or you could just grow the steak in a fermentation process similar to beer. Think about beer when it was first discovered by the Egyptians, when some water got into their grain stores and they were going to throw the grain out because the grain was bubbling, and they drank it instead and got tipsy. Somebody probably said, well, that's new technology. We shouldn't use it, right? So that's kind of how you have to look at the new way that we grow shrimp. We bypass the shrimp. We just process the stuff that the shrimp eats, and then it's just new technology, right? Just like when we accidentally discovered beer, right? Or with fermentation. This is another fermentation process, and it's clean and it's cheap. Once we perfect it, it's going to be so much cheaper and cleaner and probably a better steak. So why would you go through all that mess? It always comes out the same thing, that ultimately it's the economy, the money, the fact that they're fighting for. Also, the other thing that comes up here, because that's a swindler's card, they've shut off foreign money streams from the Republicans, and that really harmed them. That's basically what it's showing. Twitter is definitely going bankrupt. I think that's something we saw. Somebody was asking me about Hobbs defeating Lake. Yeah, Debbie, we did a lot of cards on Hobbs, and Hobbs defeats. It could take up to 30 days. We got the Ace of Wands. Again, we read wands literally as months. So within 30 days of the election, it will be declared for Hobbs. And that's just because they count by hand. Right now, Hobbs is ahead 35,000 votes. They're saying that many of the votes are favoring Lake. She did gain 3,000 from an 80,000 count, but she would require 55% or greater. Lake would require for the next for the 250,000 or whatever that are coming in, she would have to get 55% or greater. The last batch, she got 52%. I don't think it's going to be favoring Lake as much as people say, because they still haven't counted Apache, which is 70% favoring Hobbs, as is Pima. 52% Maricopa favors Hobbs. So, and those are the populated areas. So statistically, while there's still hope for Kelly, for Lake, excuse me, it just doesn't. Yeah, no. Hey, a miracle could happen, but it's just not looking like it's possible, and the cards don't show that it's possible. All right, let's take a look. This is a general question that Linda Rose is asking about economic changes between now and April of 2023. And I've talked about that we are entering into the time of the new green economy. We've talked a lot about the fact that we are moving towards a more peaceful, friendlier time. Hi, Julia. Good to see you here. And we're also talking about the fact that it's going to be a much cleaner, prettier planet in the coming years. Let's take a look. I think Lake is already having a meltdown, but yeah. Even if they favored her, 80,000. So she had 80,000 votes, and 85,000 votes came in, and she gained 3,000. So we have 245,000 left. So that would theoretically, at this rate, give her another 12,000. But let's be generous and give her 25,000. She still loses by 15,000, 10, 15,000. It's looking increasingly unlikely, but and so far everything is trending blue in Arizona with Kelly. So I would find it difficult to see, given the trajectory, given how the state, the Senate and House races have gone also. When we look at the trajectory in Arizona, it's blue. So again, it just is not looking good for Lake. But anything's possible. The economy. Happiness. The economy is happiness. The light bulb went off. Humans are always learning. Sometimes we learn things that are not true. Sometimes it puts us in a bad place. One of the false teachings that we held on to for a really, really long time was this idea that we needed to go to war with the planet, that she was our enemy, that she needed to be tamed and controlled. And instead of helping us, we ended up getting poorer and poorer and poorer, destroying the natural resources. Those of us who are of European descent, we destroyed our resources. We killed one another. And then when we ran out of trees and food, we then proceeded to invade the Americas, invade Africa, because we had completely wiped out our natural resources by the 12th century. So now there is this awareness, if we actually are kind to mama and grow, and we work with her, we become, our wealth is infinite, right? We can send a bouquet all the way from here to the moon if we want to. That beautiful bouquet that Princess Diana wore, carried when she got married to Prince Charles. It just kind of went off. I see that like garlands going off into infinity every time I connect with our mother, right? Gaia. When I really connect with Gaia, like, what do you want, mama? What do you want? What do you want for your babies? She always sends flowers into infinity. I want to love. You know, anybody who's been a mom and has felt that love for their child, that's Gaia. That's how Gaia, we get that from Gaia because we are her children. She just wants to love her babies into infinity, right? So our wealth is our karma. This is the economic future for the planet. And her children are joyful because they understand environmental science. And understanding environmental science is the beginning of understanding Gaia. There's joy here. The waters are cleaned again. This joy that comes with cleaning the waters and say, aha, eureka, the star, I get it. We get it now, Gaia. We will clean the waters. We will remove the plastic and the waste. There's this tremendous joy and feeling of accomplishment coming to our future. All that plastic, we now know how to pull it out, and there are tons and tons of plastic. The Ocean Cleanup Project, amazing what they're doing. It's all becoming pure and clean again, starting with small little areas where they're doing research. And then when they succeed, eureka, we did it. We cleaned the pond. We can take this technology larger. There's this feeling of the cleanliness returns, the healing returns. And with that comes this unbelievable return of spirituality and grace. The light bulb goes off. 3 of our cards are major arcana. Oh, actually 4 of the 4 cards are major arcana, by the way. The sun comes out. We have mastered our purpose. This is why you are alive. The future of the earth and its economy is 4 major arcana cards. It is our destiny, cleaning the waters, anointing from spirit. The sun comes out. We are empowered. This is the future of the economy, and this is the future of the planet. Never seen that before, by the way. So I thank you for that, Linda Rose. That is the first time I've seen us pull 4 major arcana. Has anyone ever seen us do that? I don't know if you've ever done that. All right, I am going to call it quits because we've been here for an hour and a half. Yes, thank you, Galitas. Yes, he will. That's what we've talked about. You know, people want to know, will Mitch McConnell cut the head off the beast? Yes, of course he will, because this is the cannibalism we were talking about. It always ends the same way because it's not sustainable and it goes against the natural order. And one of the things you learn when you study environmental sciences, even if you're not a particularly spiritual person and you just want to look at data, is that you learn from environmental sciences that there is a natural order. And we now understand the natural order. And so with that power, we can do amazing things on this planet. It's really that I've never seen us pull 4 major arcana like that. And to have it end with power, magician, we have the tools that we need to save ourselves, to save the economy, and to fulfill our destiny, which is to create heaven on earth. Isn't that cool? All right, love and light to you all. If you are trying to get in for a reading with me, you can go to tarotwithwhimsy.com, or you can just click directly on the Booksy button below, Booksy information below. If you want to get a 5-minute reading with me and you don't have a lot of cash and you just need a 5-minute reading, you can get that through Wizio. I do a 5-minute taped reading for you. Is there anything else? Oh, yes. If you need to see me as a doctor, I am seeing patients for general coaching, and that is done through drwhimsy.com, DOCTOR, whimsy.com. Also, that information is below this video. Be sure and support the other readers. And yeah, it's been fun. This was a fun day. I had a lot of fun with you all. All right. Stay safe, everybody. Get out there and get some. Remember, your health is your priority. And yeah. All right. See you all next time. Bye, hun. Bye.